Hello, everyone. My guest today is Katrin Jakob. She's a PhD and is the co-founder of Whitehawk Software and responsible for business development, client acquisition, marketing, and raising capital. She's worked for more than 20 years in the technology and academics and the private industry, managing research groups and accelerating U.S. market entry for German-based companies. Katrin, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Tell us about Whitehawk. What does the company do, and what's your revenue model? How do you guys make money?
Yes. So Whitehawk Software is a cybersecurity company, and that's a very wide area. And we know it's a complicated technical area. And if you want to be cyber resilient, you have to protect several layers. And that means you need several technologies. You cannot protect everything with one technology. And we are coming in at the very last layer, so to say. We protect the code itself, the software itself. It's called tamper-proofing. So we have developed a tool that enables the software to check itself at runtime if it has been compromised.
Okay.
So if a hacker comes in, he usually tries to change the code a little bit and then sees what happens. And our tool allows to implement protection features at the binary level, and that again allows the software to check itself if it has been compromised. And this could be called the very last mile, but actually want to be called the very first mile. So if a software engineer writes code that is very critical, that goes in an industrial control system or into an airplane or into a pacemaker, for instance, then he should protect the code. And usually the engineers implement some kind of protection. Mostly it's some kind of obfuscation.
Okay.
But that is not enough. So it really, if you have critical code, you want to prevent hacking, like the autonomous car, for instance, is another example. You need real good protection. That's where we come in.
So Katrin, yeah, cybersecurity is obviously a very hot space. Help us understand pricing. Are you priced on a SaaS model, monthly recurring fees?
So we sell as a license.
Okay. And what is that license tip? I'm sure there's a big range, but typically, are we talking like a $10 license or a $10,000 license?
It's a very high-end protection. It's a very high-end product, and it's I cannot go into details, but it's a six-figure number for the license.
Okay, and that's the annual license?
Yes, that's the annual license. Yes.
Okay, so always north of $100,000 per year.
Yeah.
And just help me. I won't push further than that in terms of an average. But why would someone pay $100,000 versus $1 million per year? What are the big differences as they pay more?
So you mean I'm not quite sure if I understand the question.
Someone who pays $100,000 is getting less than someone who's paying you $1 million per year. What's the difference? Why would somebody pay you more money?
If you ask 100,000 per year.
Why would somebody pay you $1 million per year versus 100,000 per year?
This is 100,000 per year.
I know, Katrin. My question is, one customer pays $100,000 per year, the other pays $1 million per year. Why does the one paying $1 million per year pay you so much more?
Why would he pay me $1 million? I'm not getting the question. Sorry.
I'm simply asking what allows you to charge more to some customers and less to other customers.
So because we have a very high-end product,
no, but Katrin specifically, sorry, is it like number of seats on the platform, number of computers protected, number of lines of code?
No, it's per license used at the same time. So when an engineer uses it at a certain time frame, and a second engineer wants to use that's when we would pay 2 licenses.
So it's number of seats.
Yes, it's not. Sorry, it's not. Yeah, it's not per per computer or per program. It's number of seats. Sorry, yes.
That's okay. Okay, and then put this on a timeline for me. When did you guys launch the company?
So we launched 4 years ago, and which is quite some time, and we have developed a prototype for a certain platform. So we are platform dependent. We have originally wanted to go into industrial control systems, which the manufacturing, because they all go into the internet these days, and that was a very important entry market. It didn't turn out that way, so we switched a little bit and are working on other platforms, which is the IoT platform for ARM as well as x64, which is more requested.
Okay.
And I want to go a little bit into something else too. So I said we are going for licenses, but it's a very high-end product. And so what we usually have to do is we have to start with a service project, with a small service project. And then because we're very also, and if a big company comes to us and wants to protect their crown jewels, there's a certain level of trust needed too. And so we usually provide a service project first, and then we go over and they feel confidence, buying.
Do you charge for the service project, or is it free if they get a contract?
No, we do charge.
Okay. And is that typically like $100,000, the same as a year-long contract, or what's the typical setup fee?
It's smaller. It depends really on the size of the project, and that goes usually after engineering hours.
Okay, engineering hours. That's great. And then you launched 2015. How many customers have you scaled to today? How many people?
So we are very low in the customer numbers. So it's still between 1 and 5.
Okay, that's great. So we're already so close. I mean, are you talking like 2, 3? How many?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, 2. That's great. So 2 customers paying, again, north of $100,000 per year. You founded it in 2015. How many people are on your team today?
We are just 2.
2 of you guys. Okay.
Yes. And we take, if we need support, we go for consultant.
Yep. And how much have you guys raised, or are you bootstrapped?
No, we are still bootstrapped. So if you are a small startup in Silicon Valley today, it's very hard to raise without any customer, right? And so we probably look into funding, but we have not. Right now, we're still bootstrapped, yes.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Now, how have you been able to sustain yourself since back 2014 building this? If today you just have 2 customers, is it just a lot of consulting work?
Yes, consulting, and I have a very good engineer actually who can go out of his way and do that stuff.
Okay, so there's 2 of you guys, yes. You and the engineer. Are you guys co-founders?
Yes, we're both co-founders. Yes. So my engineer Chris is the technical genius.
So you guys split it 50-50, or he gave you more?
No, actually, I have a little bit less.
Okay. I'd give you more because I like you. All right. So good. So you do that. So when do you go all in on, it sounds like to me right now, you're kind of balancing because you need to for cash flow, consulting work versus pure SaaS. Yeah. I think you have to pick one to really scale, right? If you had to pick consulting or SaaS, which one will you go with?
Yeah, that is selling the license for sure.
Yeah. So why haven't you been able to sell more of those?
Because it's very difficult to work with the customer. So first of all, it's very hard to go to the big companies, which we are targeting, right? Again, it's a trust. We're a very small company. It's a trust problem first, and the convincing, again, in cybersecurity, because it's such a crazy field outside, we really have to hard to target the right person. And usually, because we come in with such a high price, we have to convince, the very high level CEO, CISO, but in the end, it's the product manager who has actually to deal with the product, right? And the engineers. And getting at the CEO level or at the very high level in the management that has to be behind is very complicated. And I can actually give you a really nice example. We had one company, and we really had a big supporter in the company, which I thought was great. So he supported us, he understood us, he knew what value we bring to the table. And
what was his title?
What is his title? I think it was product manager. And but he really understood also what we bring to the table. I think that was really interesting. He could work very well with our engineer. And so we did a project with them, and they paid for it. And he even told us they wanted.
How much did they pay?
They had I can't forget. I'm not going to.
Are we talking like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000?
It's that range, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and even the board at that company, he was told, is they want to go more into the software. So they have a product that is hardware and software, and I didn't even mention that. What they want to protect is their algorithm, and for the first time, they want to export to a country that's famous for they take the IP, and
China.
And they explicitly sought us out because they knew we could protect the algorithm against reverse engineering. I haven't even mentioned that, right? If somebody wants to read out your algorithm.
So Katrin, sorry, we only have 15 minutes, so I have to move through this quickly. So this is like a major red flag. They pay you 30, 40, 50,000 bucks to set up, and then they don't go on an annual fee afterwards. That should be a major red flag. Something's not going right.
Yes, so we continue to work with him. We actually will meet again, and I hope we can actually continue the discussion. Yes, because he told us actually we did such a good job that the CEO thinks it's enough protection, and that is the big question in cybersecurity, right? How much is enough?
Well, yeah, but what? But if there's something protection is ongoing. So you say, great. Well, if your CEO thinks it's enough ongoing, it's $10,000 a month, and now that we've got it set up, why can't you easily sell that? I don't understand.
Well, that's a question probably we have to figure out how we continue with convincing the customer. And the other advantage he would have, he would get the tool, so he does not need necessarily us anymore, and he can actually implement everything himself, right? Which I think should be a big advantage going forward. So,
well, how frequently are you guys updating your tool?
We have not really yet, because that involves quite some work. We probably do in the future. I don't know.
That's the sale, right? Is listen, cybersecurity threats are always evolving. Our engineers are always looking after the latest threats, and we're pushing updates every week. If you don't subscribe to us on a monthly basis, you won't get the updates pushed, and you're liable to have the Chinese steal your IP. You want to pay $10,000 a month to protect yourself?
Yes.
Good Who's your salesperson? Why isn't anyone selling?
Yes, because it's hard. It's very hard, and for your founder listeners, so we are both on the scientific side a little bit, right? We do have an advisor, but we have a few hurdles here. And I have to say, we have gone through the lean startup, and I learned a lot with that. But coming from the scientific side, you have to learn a lot. How to sell, how to tell the story. That was a big leap for myself too.
Yeah. Are you looking at raising capital right now?
We haven't really started yet, but we might probably going in the second half of the year.
If you do raise, how much do you plan to raise?
1.5 million in seed funding.
Okay, and do you want to do it on a note or a priced equity round?
On a note.
Okay, got it. And what is your dream in terms of what you want the cap to be on that? You think 5, 6, 7 million?
Probably 5, yes.
Yeah. And how do you get to that?
We'll see.
Well, no, where'd you come up with 5?
Well, because we think we have a few customers now, and it was a little bit of a switch from the tamper-proofing to going into the reverse engineering protection, and it has been on a very special platform which nobody has done before, and it's actually not available. And so we think we actually have an advantage right now, and we're looking into companies who use the same platform. And that's actually where we really probably can go into and then spread from there.
What are your guys' total costs right now per month?
It's probably it's just sustaining ourselves pretty much 2,000.
Okay, so you're making, call it 2 customers paying $100,000 a year, so call it $9,000 per month. So you're doing about $18,000 per month right now in revenue, and you guys are just basically using that to pay yourselves, so you're break even?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll keep, yes. Kind of paying ourselves, but we use the consultants, and so.
Yeah. But my point is, you're spending all of your revenue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, a year ago, back in December of 2018, so 6 months ago, what were you doing in terms of monthly revenue? Do you remember? Do you still have 2 customers?
Nothing. No.
Oh, so when did you sign up these first 2 customers? What month?
November and December
of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, going back to December 2018, 6 months ago, you had these same 2 customers, right? So you're doing about $20,000 a month then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically, over the past 5-6 months, you haven't added any new customers?
No.
Katrin, you need a salesperson.
Yes, absolutely.
Why haven't you, what are you waiting for?
It's hard to get them.
Yeah, no, it's true, but you're in a hot space. You got to go figure out how to convince one. See, this is what's interesting about folks like you, and I'm making sweeping generalizations here, so punch me in the face if I'm wrong. You strike me as based off your bio, an extremely intelligent. You probably do have the best software. PhD, really, really smart. But see, it just doesn't matter unless you have all the distribution channels. And that is what you got to figure out how to convince. See, it's always tricky to sell a salesperson that you have the best cyber protection software, because that salesperson doesn't understand the software. So they have no way to know that you're actually the best, which is why sometimes and many times the best products don't win. So what's your current what's your current strategy? What have you tried to hire a salesperson?
Yeah, probably we have to look into that.
Have you tried to hire one recently?
We have not actively tried that. No.
Got it.
We have probably not pushed enough. That's absolutely true. Yes. And again, coming from the scientific perspective, it's a whole different world selling something. You might be the smartest person in the room and you have the best product, but it does not sell itself.
Yeah. No, it makes good sense. I mean, no product sells itself, by the way, right? But I think we didn't get a ton into the tech here because frankly, you'll be talking way over my head and I won't be able to ask you good questions about the tech. But I believe
not the technical person. It's really Chris.
Yeah. Well, I believe you have the best tech, and I think you'll probably get outreach from a lot of people that maybe understand the space and reach out because you have these runaway successes like Malwarebytes, Nobi4, a lot of these cybersecurity companies that have figured out how to get distribution, but may or may not be as technically sound as maybe what you've built. If your one engineer really is a genius.
Yes.
All right. We'll see. Let's wrap up with the fame. By the way, he's not like your husband, is he?
No.
Just making sure.
No, we get this disruptive. We have a similar name, but we're absolutely not related.
That's so funny. All right, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Yeah, it's the Hard Things About Hard Things, actually, that I just recently read. But I have to say, the Lean Starter really was eye-opening. So every founder should really read that.
Number two, what's your favorite CEO or name a CEO you're following or studying?
I do love Elon Musk, but who I really think is great is Satya Nadella, because I have a feeling he turned Microsoft around. And I know that many, Microsoft people now probably roll their eyes, but moving a company like Microsoft in a different direction is probably a really big task.
Very difficult. Yep. Yeah. Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Yeah, it's Google. It's Google Docs. It's really helpful.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
6 to 7.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
No, I'm married, but we have 2 kids that are out of college, and they are actually not mine.
Married, 2 kiddos, and do you mind me asking how old you are?
How old I am?
Yeah.
No, you do not want to know.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because I want to say, take us back to your 20-year-old self. What do you wish that she knew?
Yes, I actually think you have to build a very smart network from the beginning. That's something I would have probably done differently. And then embrace change. You're really surprised what you can do if you do change and try out different things. So those are the things. Build a very smart network right early on and embrace change, I think.
Guys, there you have it. Build a network early on. Coming from Whitehawk Software, they have 2 customers, big enterprise contracts, $100,000 plus per year in cybersecurity space, bootstrapped right now, looking at raising $1.5 million later this year, Q3, Q4 2019. Hoping to raise that on a $1.5 million on a $5 million cap. We'll see if Katrin can tackle it. In the meantime, she is trying to find, again, how to get more sales with what she believes is truly the best software, especially in the cybersecurity space. Katrin, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Nathan, thank you for having me.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it, and the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.